I'm Dawn Montefusco, and this is Write Because It Matters. And today we have Shelley Hitz, who is an author coach, writer, business strategist, and Christian entrepreneur. Shelley believes every person has God-given gifts and abilities to impact the world, and she encourages everyone to let their light shine. And if you haven't been to her website, you're absolutely going to love it as a writer, and that's my little plug, but I'll keep saying that. So we're just going to jump in, and I'm going to say, hi, Shelley.
Hey, Dawn. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. So why don't we just jump in? I love your story. So can you tell everyone what led you to start your company and become an author, coach, and speaker?
Yeah, I call it the twists and turns of life. Like, I never planned on this. I never dreamed of being an author. Like so many authors, they've dreamed about writing a book their whole life. I didn't. Like, I thought I was going to be a doctor or a nurse. I ended up practicing in the medical field as a physical therapist for 12 years. And it was in 2011, I resigned my job. My husband and I bought a small little Toyota RV. We rented out our house. We tried to sell it, but the economy was down at the time. But we went out in this RV, and we thought we were going to be traveling around the country, speaking and doing some writing on the side. But all the speaking engagements just stopped. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Because we're people of faith. And I was like, God, I feel like you asked me to quit my job. Now what are we going to do? Because we didn't have any speaking engagements. And that year was 2012. And I remember very specifically January 1st, 2012, I got an email about a Kindle publishing course. We'd already published on Kindle. I'd already been publishing books for about 4 years, but I thought, this might help me go to the next level. I don't have anything else to do. I'm not working anymore. We don't have any speaking engagements. We're sitting in this RV wondering how we're going to put gas in the RV. So that year, I took the course that year. We published 23 books.
Wow.
And we launched our publishing company, Body and Soul Publishing. And we have since, formalized it as an LLC. And what happened was I'd been doing online marketing since 2004. I launched my first website in 2004. So I knew marketing. And when I combined the publishing with the marketing, we had amazing success. And we started earning thousands of dollars a month from our book royalties. People began to ask me, how are you doing that? What are you doing? And one thing led to another. I love to teach. I love to encourage. And I'd already done websites and I had been doing stuff. So I launched my author coaching business, which is now what I do today.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you've written a bunch of books. So can you tell us, some of them took longer, others were shorter. You've come up with a process. What were some of the favorite ones that you wrote? And then tell us a little bit about the process that you've learned about writing.
Yeah, so I am 40 years old and I'll be 41 this month, but I have over 40 books. And so almost one for every year of my life. And we have over 50 that we've published as a publishing company. Some my husband has written, some we do have a couple other authors we work with. But it's been an amazing journey. And I love to teach. And so a lot of my books are more teaching or sharing my story, encouraging, motivating, that kind of thing. I don't consider myself the best writer, but I love to share what I've learned. And so there's so many of the books that are memorable to me, but probably one that really sticks out is one that my husband and I wrote together. It's called The Forgiveness Formula. Oh. And it shares a lot of my personal story of just really having healing and breakthrough in personal ways. But it was really special because it was the first one that my husband and we had co-authored, and from, speeches and presentations we had been giving. And so that was a really neat book. But yeah, my very first book took me about a year to write. It's because I was working full time. So I don't know if some of the people listening are working full time. You can do it, even when working full time. It took me a year, but I would just write little bits at a time. And I was very busy during that time. I was working full time. We were speaking professionally on the weekends and traveling on my vacations for speaking engagements. We were very busy in our church and our community. And I still, had little, I found the time to write that book over 1 year. But, several of my recent books have taken me 1 week, literally from outlining the book to writing the book, to formatting, book cover design, publishing, editing, everything. The whole process took 1 week. And it's because I've developed a system. So I say, systems are like my secret sauce, and the reason I've been able to be so prolific. And I think that's true with anything in business. When you develop a system that works for you and it's repeatable, but then also have a team. So I have people that have, that I work with and help me with the formatting and the editing and the book cover design and that sort of thing. But it's been such an amazing process, and now I love being able to share those systems and what I've learned with others.
There's a specific book. I think it's Outline to Finish Line.
Yes.
Is that one? Yeah. I love that. So on that note, what do you think slows people down? I mean, you had the year-long, and now you've got the week-long. So as your experience goes, what would you say to someone like, oh, I know what's slowing you down?
Now that I'm working really closely with the members in my Author Audience Academy, I hear a lot of the obstacles. So a lot of times it's mindset. And, is like, one of my one-on-one clients, she's like, I feel like this book is just another Me Too. It's just something that, has already been written about millions and millions of times, and who am I to write a book on this topic? And I asked her, do you ever read more than one book on a topic? And she says, yes. I'm like, why do you do that? To get different perspectives? Right. Because she said I might connect more with one of the authors. She gave me all these reasons. I said, people will read more than one book on a topic. And if you have something and I know she's an amazing life coach, and she gives amazing breakthroughs. I mean, she's coached me. And so I know she has amazing content to offer, and in her particular way. So, sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's just a mindset of finding the time and I just don't have the time. And maybe it's more it's not about not having the time. It's about prioritizing the time.
Right. Yes.
So we all have those vices, whether it's Netflix, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's Periscope, whatever it is, we have those things that suck our time. For me, it's Facebook.
Yeah,
and I'm on there all the time. And so, there may be something like that you could give up for a season. I'm not saying you have to stop doing it forever.
Idea.
But just like, let's say for a month, or for 2 weeks or something, you say, I'm going to put aside my Netflix binging and instead I'm going to put that time into my book. And that was actually what I did for my first book. We were so busy at the time. I look back and I think, how did I find the time? And it just so happened my husband asked if I'd be willing to give up our cable for a season during that same time. And I sat there, I'm like, what am I going to do? And that's when I started writing. And so, it could be a different thing. It could be that you get up a little earlier or stay up a little later. There's so many ways to make it work. I was talking to a father the other day, and he's like, I'm busy. I have small kids at home. I know I'm supposed to write this book, but I just can't find the time every day. And I said, well, what if you would block off maybe like a 3-day weekend, take a day off from work, block off a 3-day weekend, and lock yourself into a hotel or a retreat or somewhere like that, and just write for the weekend.
Totally.
And he was like, I could do that.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I find that I'm really good at is helping people to find what is the best way to write your book.
That's a great point. I was going to ask
and it
you
doesn't
that.
have to be the typical, write something every day. I mean, that is a great habit to get into, and something I teach in my free writing challenge at writingweek.com. But there are multiple ways to write a book.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of times it's just looking at, your schedule and looking at the things that are holding you back. Maybe it's mindset. I find that it's a lot of mindset stuff. Like I'm not good enough, or I'm not a writer. And I have a little video on my YouTube channel where I was running, and I run races, but my husband is a very, very high quality runner, and he will win races. I mean, we have some friends here in Colorado Springs that went to the Olympic trials. Our friends are very, very good runners.
Wow.
And so for me, I'm a very slow runner, and I'm around Olympic class athletes all the time. And so I'm like, I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
But I'm out there running 5Ks. I finished a several half marathons. I'm a runner.
Yeah.
And so, my whole thing was, you're a writer.
Yes.
And so a lot of times we just have these mindset things of, I'm not a writer. Well, I don't consider myself necessarily a writer, but I am a writer. I'm an author. I'm a published author. If you write text, if you write social media posts, emails, you're a writer. And we all have something to share. We all have a message to share. So, there's so many things that can hold us back. But I think, when you really look at it, a lot of it's either mindset or just prioritizing or just getting the knowledge that you need. And a lot of times, being part of something like this or a coaching program, hiring a coach, just getting in the system that you need can really help you get unstuck. There's a Stephen King out there. That is what we think of when we think of writers. My friends that went to the Olympic trials, that's what I think of when I think of runners.
I see, yeah.
But just because I'm not going to ever go to the Olympics, just because I probably will never win a race unless no one else shows up in my age group or what, it's like, that doesn't make me any less of a runner. I'm still a runner. And my friends that are high, very gifted runners, they still respect me for going out there, for finishing, for doing what I can with the abilities God has given me. And just because you may not ever be a Stephen King, or you may never be a C.S. Lewis, or you may never be a certain type of author that wins certain awards or does certain things or sells millions of copies of your book, you are a writer and you have a message, and there is someone out there that needs to hear what you have to share. I just received an email a few weeks ago, and the person wrote me and she says, "Thank you for sharing your story."
Wow.
Thank you for sharing your story. And sometimes you have no idea who is reading your story. You don't get the emails all the time. You don't always hear, people often don't post reviews or they don't contact you. And so you never know who is being impacted by your story, but it's important, it's significant, and it can not only impact their life, but it can grow your business and impact your life in amazing ways.
That's great. Tell us more about self-publishing. You love it. I think it's great, and you help people self-publish. Tell us more. Why would someone choose self-publishing?
The publishing arena has completely changed over the last 10 years. So I first published my book, I published a book for the first time in 2008, and it's changed dramatically even since then. But it's really, self-publishing has really leveled the playing field. So with print-on-demand technology that you can get through companies like CreateSpace, which is an Amazon company, or Ingram Spark, or Vervante, or other companies, you can have your book published and then they just print them one by one as they're ordered. No more do you have to buy thousands of copies of your book. No more do you have to, have, all these boxes in your garage. And the stigma of self-publishing is really starting to change because even authors that have been published by big publishers, they're realizing the power of self-publishing and they're starting to go to self-publishing as well. They're starting to hybrid publish, do some with traditional publishers and some on their own. What I recommend everyone consider independent publishing, which you are still self-publishing, but you're publishing under your own publishing company.
Yes.
And so a lot of people get confused, and I have a whole podcast episode on Author Audience about this. But basically what you're doing is you can start small. You can start in the United States. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving legal advice, but you can start as a sole proprietor and just choose a name. I don't recommend choosing your name like Shelley Hitz Publishing. We chose Body and Soul Publishing as our publishing name. Then that's what gets, onto your imprint for your publisher. It's just a more professional way to do it. It's also a way to prepare to scale. So we never knew. When I first started publishing, I had no idea it was going to turn into a full-time business like what it has today. But by establishing a publishing company, it's allowed us to grow. It allowed us then, as we grew, we then established an LLC, and now we have a complete business. So you don't know what tomorrow will bring, what next year will bring. And, it allows you to scale if you want to later on. But it also is it's just a really good way to combine the benefits of self-publishing with more, just more professional way of going forward with it. And also just, establishing yourself as a publisher and also a author. But, it's really amazing what you can do. You can publish a book to create space with no upfront costs. I mean, I do recommend you pay for, for your ISBN and formatting and book cover design, but you don't have to pay CreateSpace anything to actually use their service. KDP for Kindle books, you don't have to pay them anything. You don't even need an ISBN for Kindle books. So, I mean, it's the best way to get started, I believe, is with Kindle publishing. It's inexpensive, it's quick, it's easy, and you learn the process. So I usually recommend people start with a Kindle book, see how it goes. And with Kindle books, you have so much more flexibility. You can test out book covers, you can test out titles, because it's not tied to an ISBN. You can change all of that. And so then you can test it out, see how it goes, and then when you have a book that is selling well, is doing well, you can publish it into print book, audiobook. There's spiral bound, large print, translations. I've had my books translated into other languages, and then you can, have signature programs based around your books. But it's just a matter of getting started. But there's so many possibilities, there's so many options, and it really gives you a lot more control. So with the traditional publisher, they may want to edit your book in ways that you would not want it to be edited, or the royalties are a lot lower. You're still responsible for most of the marketing, and so really there's very few times that I'll coach someone that I really say you really need to look into the traditional publishing route. I mean, if a traditional publisher is approaching you, then that's a different story. And but it just takes years and years of time to wait, go through all the red tape, go through all the process. There's never a guarantee. The upfront money that they pay you, the advances are shrinking, the contracts are shrinking. So you have to have a big platform. You have to be able to tell them, I have this many email subscribers, I have this many social media followers, I have this, I have this, I have this. And then there's still no guarantee. So there's just so much flexibility with self-publishing. And if you are able to then do, the marketing, which you have to do anyways with the traditional publishers, you can make a lot more money, and you have a lot more control over like the promotions you can do, the pricing. I mean, just about everything,
It sounds so fun. It seems that, and again, you probably, I know you've trained on this, writers now need to be marketers. They need to understand how to run that business. And you train with writer. I mean, there's the writer that stays home and doesn't want to do anything, but it seems like there's lots more writers out there that are speakers and just want to get their messages out. So, yeah.
Yeah, and even if you're one of those writers that just wants to stay at home, there are many marketing opportunities and ways that you can do it that fit with who you are and with your personality. That's what I teach. So I teach the promotion pyramid, which is having the 3 basic things to really market your book of your website, your email list, your social media. But what I teach, and I have a Take Action workshop in Author Audience Academy specifically on this, is setting it up according to your personality, your strengths, your gifts, your budget, your time, and then set up your book marketing plan according to what is going to work best for you. I really am better at the speaking. So I do a lot of live video broadcasts on Periscope, Facebook Live. I do a lot of webinars, podcasting. That really fits me well. It fits my strengths, and it really has a great return on investment for me. But if you're a writer and you just want to stay behind the screen, there are so many options for you. And one of them is publishing a perma-free book. So a perma-free book is a book that's free on Amazon all the time, and then it can lead people into your book series. And you don't have to do anything. You're not doing webinars or live broadcasts or podcasts. You're writing more books, and then you're offering that for free for people to get to know you, like you, trust you, sign up to your email list, get to know your other books in your series. So there's so many different ways to market. And that's one of the things I really love to teach authors, is to how to find their sweet spot. And it doesn't have to be what you think of when you think of marketing, of just, social media or whatever it is that you think of when you think of marketing. There are so many ways to get your message to more people. And the trick is finding what works best for you. And that's what I
Yeah.
love, being able to coach people and coach the authors in my program on how to find that.
That's great. And you offer so many great things on your site. I just want to say thank you for putting yourself out there. I mean, you really do a fabulous job. And that leads me to, I think you have a free gift for the audience. And just so everyone knows, again, all the links will be under the video, and so you can get in touch with Shelley really easily, but she has a free gift to offer.
I do. So I have a free 7-day writing challenge. It is great for any writer. And whether you're writing blog posts or books or emails or whatever it is you're writing for your business, I recommend that anyone sign up, and it's at writingweek.com. You get access to a 7-day training. Each day has different resources. I have a template that you can download for tracking your writing. And it's amazing when you start tracking your writing and you find your sweet spot. What works best for you?
Yeah.
Like for me to speak a book and have it transcribed, that's how I've been able to write books in a week.
Wow.
Is because I have a really detailed outline. I speak it out. I have it transcribed and edited. And so that may work better for you. But there, I lead you through the process of how to find what works best for you, what environment, what time of day,
That's awesome.
what method. So you have all of those things that you can download. I have writing affirmations. So the mindset thing, you can choose different writing affirmations. I have software, productivity coach software. It's a $27 value. You can download free within the writing week. I have so many different little goodies and downloads and resources, but it has really been a transformational thing. I've had people tell me they finished their book in that 7-day challenge.
That's awesome.
So it's been so fun, and it really helps people get results. It's not just me, because it's not just, saying, okay, follow my method. It's
Right.
figure out what is best for you.
Yes, the
and
organic
then
process. Yeah.
follow that method. And through the 7-day challenge, I teach you how to do that.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Shelley. So everybody go download that right now. Finish your book. And if you want to find out more about Shelley, it's shelleyhitz.com. And I have that, again, down below with all her free gift information. And thank you so much, Shelley, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to more as we get to know each other more and grow.
Yes, thank you so much, Dawn.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.